Unreal, uncensored, unradio.
CliffCentral.com.
Auto Central, powered by AutoTrader on CliffCentral.com.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's that time of the week again. Midweek, smack bang in the middle. It is Wednesday, it's 1 p.m. Welcome to Auto Central, proudly brought to you by AutoTrader.co.za. My name's Chad Lookoff, at Chad Lookoff on Twitter. Joining studio here, as always, by George Minnie. Welcome, George.
How's it, Chad? Hump day.
Hump day, yes.
Truth, hello.
And of course, joined by Wilmarie Janse van Rensburg as well. You want to follow us, you want to get in on the action, you can join us at AutoTrader SA on both Twitter. You can check us out on Facebook, at George Minnie, at Speed Queen SA.
SA Speed Queen.
SA Speed Queen.
No props. I'm just curious, why Hump Day?
Middle of the week. It's the top of the bump.
So it's all downhill from now.
Where's your head? I've missed it. Completely missed it. Got it.
So we got actually a very different show, I think, this week, eh? It is. We actually don't have a guest in, so we're just going to be shooting the breeze, us here.
Having a nice, interesting conversation.
Having a chat, and we've got some interesting things to talk about, because big one this week is, of course, apps. And, of course, anybody that has been listening, not just to Auto Central, but just to Cliff Central as a whole, will know that Cliff Central has now just recently, it's a soft launch, but they've released their new app, their mobile app.
It's official. It was last night.
It was
the family launch.
Was that the family launch?
Okay.
I love this app. Let me tell you. I mean, there's one big important button.
Play.
Right on the front.
Right in the middle. Yeah, just play.
And, when I get in my car in the morning and I want to listen to Gareth, open this app and I don't have to worry about trying to navigate on the screen. I just hit the big yellow triangle right in the middle.
And it is strange the way that they've all evolved over the past couple of years, that we've been using apps on our smartphones, and in that they've started out a little complicated and they gave you so many settings and so many adjustments and now they're just simplifying it down.
As basic as possible.
As basic as possible. And I mean, I really like the functionality of this Cliff Central app, but it's something that we've done as well as part of AutoTrader, is just simplify it and just make the whole process so much easier.
Yeah, take out all the complications, take out all the stuff that's inside there.
Yeah.
Well, it's a game changer. I mean, there's so much happening in the electronic and the app world, in the motoring world, and I think that's what's so exciting. So it's for me, it's people who are ahead of the game. You know what I mean? At this point, that's doing this. For example, AutoTrader, and it was nice to see that now the whole family, Cliff Central, we've got one. We can use, yeah.
And as well, I know I'm sitting here and I'm punting it, but Gareth was just showing me just now about how quick it is to download a podcast. So if you're not happening to listen live, which is now so much easier with the app now as well, you can go and download the podcast. It took about 10 seconds.
Wow.
And that's on like a 3G connection. Then it took about 10 seconds to download some of the past podcasts. Fast forward to the place where you want to listen to, if it was a specific interview, if it was a specific review or highlights or something that we were chatting about, and you can just, it's so much easier.
And there's a small, medium, and a high option in terms of quality, sound quality as well.
Resolution as well, okay.
Yes, so you don't have to, so it will use a little less data than if you go with the low one. I've been using that; it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's obviously a personal choice. For me, it's so easy to go to your Play Store on the Samsung. It's there. Yeah. Boom, and download it quick.
And the reason why it's there is because for the past 4 days, it's been ranked tops. Both on
like trending.
Yeah, both on
Yes.
App Store, local, both on App Store and Google Play Store. So well done to the guys. Congratulations. That's
Brilliant.
It's going to make things so much easier for people to just, listen. You don't have to physically go into type in.
Yeah, I'm really liking it because it's also got Facebook and Twitter functionality in there as well, which means that the people can start getting involved with us, and we like it. As much as it's good to listen to this on a podcast, we want to get a little bit of interaction. We want to hear your thoughts. We want you to interact with us. That's why we're here. Come chat to us. Throw us a question. Throw us a bone. Tell us your thoughts.
And it's quite cheap, though, George. I mean, from last night, Gareth mentioned, is it 19?
I think it was 18 megabytes.
18 megabytes for an hour show.
Yeah.
For an hour show. I mean, that's really nothing. So, I mean, that's affordable. We'll just get a decent package anyway, but mostly we have.
But the thing is, data prices are coming down, and data packages are becoming, people are realizing that, they're no longer selling SMSs and MMSs and talk time and that. They need to be able to sell data, so they're gearing the packages, the cell phone packages, around data. And this is a very good thing, because every day we're using more and more data,
yeah.
because I mean that's one of the prime topics here today of today's show, is just the way that these apps interact with regards to motoring. We're a motoring show. We're not here. It's not a tech show, so we're not talking about tech, but we want to bring in a little bit of the tech here today. And
How
just
do
chat
we?
about
How do we get to our show on this new app? I just did it now, and it seems quite easy.
Yeah.
So I think it looks like you go to show lineup,
show lineup,
which is one of the menu items. Browse podcasts, and then hit Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Well, it's showing Listen Live now, Auto Central. All you have to do is play.
Yes. All you have to do is
Just push play.
We're right here.
But a bit later you can download it, and it's quick, like you said. So
absolutely quick, yeah. Okay, well, we're going to be chatting a little bit more about apps and their involvement with regards to motoring and that, and what are cool apps to have, and that can make your life a little easier, your motoring life a little easier, and that. Well, first, let's just touch base with what we've been getting up to over the past week. George, anything exciting?
Well, over the weekend, I don't want to commit too much because it's hard to do, but I'm gonna try and finish it. Started a 12-week healthy eating and an exercise challenge, so I'm going to try and finish that with Kerry, and get myself into shape for the beach for December.
You've already got some sore muscles.
Did you notice the way they walked into the studio?
It took me about 10 minutes to get up those stairs.
Yeah, it was a little rough. But that's the scary bit as well, is that we are only 12 weeks away from December, end of the year.
Yeah, end of the year is coming fast.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So
Bikini bods. I'm also working on that. Yeah.
Vilmarie, you do anything exciting?
I didn't. It's more happening this weekend. I've got the Panigale that I'm getting, so I'm excited about that. And
I'm officially jealous.
Yes, I know. And can you believe I actually have never taken it for a test ride? So I don't know why I haven't, but they said to me it's available. So we're going to go test it this weekend. There's a girls' track day going on, so I'm going in a bit of like full support and to ride it out to Delmas. So it's a nice open road.
Out to Red Star Raceway?
Yes.
Okay, and then you'll be able to flex it a little bit in terms of.
Yeah, I haven't asked yet if I'm actually allowed to take it on the track, but I also don't really want to. It's been 2 years, a little more, so I got to stay away from that thing, because once you're on it, it kind of sucks you back in. So I might just go there, have a nice brekkie, support, and come back.
Okay, yeah,
that's my goal.
Put in a good show.
Yes,
yeah.
And go show off a little bit. It is a show off bike.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yes.
Go and check out the AutoTrader SA's Google Plus account. We've got a little sneak peek there of what I've currently got. I'm going to say it in the driveway. It is the facelifted Audi S7.
Have you got it? Yeah.
I've got it.
I saw the blue one.
It's the one outside.
I parked next to it.
What a machine! And I mean, you like your Audis. You currently drive an Audi. Okay,
yeah.
you're in the market for a new car as well now, but it is a beast.
But it also looks good.
It is a good-looking car. Now they've revamped it, and it's got a couple of styling cues on this one as well that we'll go into detail and we'll point out in our video review and our written review that will be coming shortly. But we've got a very interesting take that we're doing in the video as well, that I think is going to make it quite entertaining.
That's normal for you, Chad.
Is there any electronics in there now that we're on this topic that stands out?
Yes. The navigation is tricky.
Dear.
Doesn't Audi usually come with a lot of bells and whistles standard?
It does, and I was actually quite surprised that this one didn't have quite all those boxes ticked. Usually as a press car, they like to tick as many of them as possible, just so that you get a full encompassing experience with regards to testing the vehicle. And this one just had a couple of omissions that I was like quite strange, like no heated seats.
You'd think by now they would have that in
a
for sure.
Baseline model comes in 1.1 million rand. Okay, so it's a pricey affair. It's for the well-heeled, and then
is it an optional extra?
It's an optional extra, but it's been checked already with the optional leather seats, fancy stitching and whatnot, and that bumps the price up to about 1.2 and that, but then still no heated seats with that. So it was a little strange.
It is summer now, fortunately, so just sell it in winter.
Well, that's nice where the manufacturers are going, is because they're doing not only heated seats, but they're doing air-conditioned seats as well, which is is an absolute dream. But yes, it's only hitting your high-end vehicles, and often it's a spec item. I can imagine, because there's a fair amount of plumbing that's needed and engineering that's needed to get air conditioning into the back of a seat.
Yeah.
But it does makes a world of difference. I don't want to start just like on a gripe there, but it was the navigation. I was traveling from I was traveling from the AutoTrader offices, and I wanted to head out to the West Rand. And you can cut straight across Randburg if you want to get out that way. This wanted to take me to 4 ways first. I was like, really?
But is that the car or is that
the user? I thought you were going to say that.
I do think part of it is almost user, the way the input in that, but it wasn't as intuitive. That I was able to sit there and just quickly juggle my route preferences and my route.
I don't know if there's a lot of navigation systems that actually do that. I mean, I've been in many cars, my last 2 cars, where if I wanted to get to the West Rand, it'll take me to the motorway.
Yeah.
Not straight through, because I know the route you wanted to take.
Yeah.
And it's much quicker straight through to the West Rand as the crow flies. So how many navigation systems actually give you that route configuration option? The phone's navigation systems do. They'll give you 3 options. Google will give you 3 options. But how many, Dinkum like TomTom and Garmin navigation systems give you that option?
They will, but you need to set it up, and it's one of those personal preferences where you need to set it for either your fastest or your shortest or your most economical. Usually those are the 3 options that they'll give you. And in a couple of the apps that we're going to discuss as well, they're also going to give you that. But this is now going on to this apps topic. We've got a number of them here that are actually navigation apps. And in this day and age, navigation is finding its way into smaller and smaller cars. It's not such a pricey affair anymore. If you take a look at what you're paying for a standalone GPS navigation unit, your TomTom, your Garmin's, and the like, coming in around the R1,000 mark, and you know that's a retail price.
Yeah, it's actually a little more now. Well, yes, no, you're right. It is. It has been marked down. Yeah, which is very good for about 1.5, depending on the unit. Yeah. But I mean, most of these apps are free.
Yes.
Or almost.
Almost
you know what
free.
I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's actually no excuse for getting lost.
Well, let's hit it. Let's start talking about some of these. The first one that we've got up here is Vilmarie, I'm going to let you go with this one.
The Waze. How do you say it? Waze. W-A-Z.
Vilmarie loves Waze.
No, I actually,
are you familiar with it?
A student actually told me about this. I haven't used it, so I am familiar with it, but I haven't physically used it.
Likewise.
All I know is, you benefit from reports of other drivers. So other people will make their comments or their little things, so it pops up. And whatever comment you make then helps the other drivers. For example, traffic jams and speed cameras and those kind of things.
Yeah, roadblocks and that type of thing. It's stuff you want to avoid.
Yes. Yeah. So it's user-friendly from that point, from what I understand. I have not used it myself yet.
I have used it.
Have you? Okay, so you've actually used it.
I've actually used Waze, and Waze is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
And it's visually appealing.
Yes, it is. It's very pretty, and I think it does a better UI job than the native navigation apps on the phone, like Apple Maps or Google Maps.
Okay.
I don't know if it's as sophisticated in the backside though, in the back end, because I found while I was using it, it didn't give me those route options. Maybe they've updated it by now.
Okay.
I used it quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Didn't give me those route options, but what I liked about it was the traffic jams, the speed cameras. I didn't use it for too long because my car has navigation. So, but it's a really cool app.
So the up-to-date news information and the traffic information that and
that's the coolest part.
That viable.
Yeah.
For me, it's also been a while, but I see that also some of the social media, some of the guys say on social media, it's a great app. It gets them to where they want.
I've heard the opposite.
Oh.
And that's where I'm going to come in here and just completely blow it out the water, because the feedback that I've gotten on Waze is that, and I don't know, not having used it myself, maybe George, maybe you can pitch in here and let me know, was that it was just littered with adverts. You're driving along, and
you're right.
Because it's a free app, you got these adverts popping up, and it's either blocking where your next turn is. Some of the imagery.
They've got to make their money
screen.
some way.
No, agreed. I understand the business principle behind it. And if you're giving away a free app, naturally there's going to be advertising with it. But
find other ways to make money.
That was probably the biggest gripe that I've heard, was just that there was so much advertising, and that while you're driving, to have to sit there and try and clear or cancel or do away with this advert that keeps on, this pop-up that keeps on hopping up there, was becoming a little frustrating, and the guys were just reverting back to like a standard Google Maps. And that's the thing, Google Maps, I'm a fan of Google Maps. It works for me.
It's brilliant.
I understand the functionality of it, and I like to think that they are improving it in terms of your real-time traffic alerts. So they are letting you know that there is an incident on the N1 South or N1 North. There is a broken down vehicle. There's roadworks here and there. So it is helping a little bit there.
Well, Apple Maps has the same thing. It has the dotted line on the roads that are jam-packed with traffic. So if you can turn the feature on and off, and you can see where there is traffic. And I've tried it when I travel to Cape Town. I've tried to look where the traffic is, because Cape Town's a nightmare when it comes to traffic, and it actually is very accurate.
It's actually worse than here sometimes.
Yeah, no, it is.
I'm convinced as well.
They've only got 2 roads going in there.
Yeah.
Joburg's got a ring around
Yeah.
it, so you can always get to somewhere.
Yeah. Cape Town
either by
certain
going left
times
or
don't.
right.
Yeah.
Cape Town has got the 2 roads that run in there, and it's just either the mountains
lovely.
in front of you or mountains behind you, and that's pretty much how it goes.
But Google's quite on top of things, because I mean they. I don't know if you guys have seen that whole warning on the potholes thing that they're busy with now. They've got an app now that kind of it's some sensors or it works with I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly how they do it, but they can measure, or they're aiming to measure the width and the height and the bloody intensity of this. Yes,
well, I mean,
and the
location
location.
of potholes.
Yeah, and then update for the next driver to hopefully miss it.
I'm going to let George speak on his mind on it now, because I'm going to be the cynic on that one again. Okay.
Right, before you the cynic. Well, how the system operates is it uses what the future of the internet is going to become, and that's the Internet of Things, where things are being connected. Because up to now we've been the Internet of people. Social media has connected us. We've had chat functionality like WhatsApp. So the Internet of people is where we're sitting right now, and that's what's been successful over the last decade. But the next decade is going to be about the Internet of Things, connecting things. So what Google is experimenting with here is putting sensors in the car's suspension systems and in the car itself. So when a car hits a pothole or is on a rough road, it sends a piece of data up to the satellite.
Basically a pedometer for your vehicle in a sense, and it's measuring almost like steps.
It's measuring it real time. It then calculates or takes into account the GPS location of that pothole, and then sends that data back for the users to
the next one to avoid
those potholes, or for municipalities to fix the potholes. So very, very intelligent Internet of Things, but I just don't know how practical it can be, because once you've cleared that pothole, how useful is a app that might tell you where the pothole is, and there's no bloody pothole there.
Granted, and now this is where I'm possibly going to get a little technical in it, and that is, one, how bad a driver are you that you didn't see that pothole to miss it, that you actually drove through it?
Probably looking at Waze's adverts.
No.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. But that's not fair. I mean, we've got so many on our roads. Come on, you can't miss everyone.
That we're accustomed to dodging them. We're looking
well,
out for them.
if you're lucky, if you're lucky and you drive the same roads or whatever that is dodgy, new roads and that you don't. I know going to Eastern Transvaal and that. Oh, we get some surprises. I mean, one year we went there as a whole group of guys on the bikes, and we had a pothole that none of us were aware of. That was the size of, firstly it was across the whole road, and in length it was 50 meters. So I don't know, maybe it's even past pothole. It's like a missing part of the road. Yes,
that's roadworks.
But we were traveling at some silly speeds. There's no way you can stop or turn or avoid. We all went through it, and everyone's suspension literally bottomed out through it. So I mean, where's the warning for that? So sometimes
extremely dangerous. It's destructive as well. And that's what I'm saying. You'd actually have to drive through it for it to be able to register.
Yeah.
And it just helps the next person, hopefully.
It does. And you miss it now by, pothole size. Let's go with an average pothole size. What is it going to be? It's no more than 2 feet.
The size of a tire.
A 2 foot. But a 2 foot pothole is quite a large pothole. You can avoid that while staying in your lane.
But not at night, though.
No, not
You
at
know,
night.
I
It's
lost
not tricky.
I lost a wheel a couple of years ago, or lost a tire from my wheel at night. I was traveling back home and hit the pothole and had to crawl on this flat tire to the filling station to go and change it.
And there your rim's also gone.
And your rim's gone.
Yeah.
So you know, at night I don't know if you're going to be so successful.
No, but also if they're sitting here, they're going to need extreme GPS accuracy.
Yeah.
Now, with the way that GPS works, it works on triangulation. So there's a minimum of 3 GPS or satellites that are now targeting you, and through 3 different points, they can actually triangulate and figure out where you are. You need several more satellites to be able to get an accuracy of, let's say, 2 feet.
Look, they seem to be in the process of it. Well, it's a good start.
It's a rollout.
But,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
innovative idea.
But George,
yeah.
like you were saying, so now are they going to fill it or not?
Exactly. And once they fill it and you get this warning there's a pothole and you start swerving for no reason.
I see they want to put this. They're saying here that, you know, no doubt that this is going to end up in Google's car.
Yeah, I know. That's probably their
automated driving
primary reason is
Yeah.
their driverless cars.
car. More. And it makes sense there, and I understand the logic behind it there, because there you do want to have the vehicle to actually maneuver around these and miss this and give you a comfortable drive, especially if you're not in control. To see this pothole coming and say, oh, I hope this is marked and I hope it's not going to drive through it, would be absolutely torturous. So,
Yes.
when they roll out these autonomous cars and that, it's fantastic. But I was also commenting on it earlier, just reading up about this. We're sitting there with autonomous cars where we can just sit back and the car drives itself and avoids obstacles and that. But we're still sitting with like almost 200-year-old road technology that still suffers with potholes.
Yeah, it'll have to come with the times.
There's a little bit of a contrast there in the way that things go. So what other apps did we find that was interesting?
Before we go there, did you notice that Google updated their logo last night?
Yes, there's a whole massive rollout
No.
now.
Yeah.
didn't notice
So
that.
if you go onto google.com or google.co.za, you'll see they've changed their logo. Very low key. They didn't make a big fanfare about
Yeah,
it.
no big song and dance.
That, you know,
But
that,
don't they do this often? Don't they often change it up a little?
They
done
change
it over the years.
Yeah, they change it up, but then they'll put in, you know, the Google Doodle, which is basically just
like an
celebrating
animation type of
an animation or something of the sort, an anniversary of something that they're celebrating or a milestone, something. But this is now almost I don't want to say a complete redesign, but a refresh of
It is.
the Google corporate image,
Yeah.
if I can say
It's a
that.
bit like Kitty's art.
well,
But it's now just to enline it. I mean, George, you are the digital guy here, and I mean, you understand this and you understand the importance of it. That they're streamlining it so that it's not just web page. You think Google, and I mean, depending on how old you are, you're thinking of, okay, it's that one static page of Google with the search bar underneath it, no adverts in that, which is also a deliberate move on Google's part.
Yes.
No adverts, so that it feels familiar and comfortable, and you don't mind using it. You know, if you use some of the other search engines, you've got all these adverts popping up. It's an absolute
It's
nightmare.
chaos.
Yeah, it's chaos. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've used sans serif, and it loads faster, and it's easier to read. So those are the 2 reasons they did it, and
Which makes sense.
which makes
I mean,
sense
it's
for
great,
a little screen like a mobile phone.
And that's wise now, because they're understanding that you're not only using Google on a desktop,
Yeah.
you know, on a laptop or something of the sort.
Phones.
Is that
Phones,
you're using it
phones.
on mobile,
Yeah.
tablets, and it's popping up all over. And yes, it's even popping up in vehicles.
Yeah.
So that's the type of thing that they are now considering, and they're streamlining it and just making it that much easier, whether it be their microphone icon, whether it be their search icon, whatever it is. The waiting icon, I see they've modified all of that just to simplify it so that it's not as busy and it's just easy to use.
Like the Cliff Central app, make it simple.
That's it. Kiss.
And
keep
pretty.
Keep
Yeah.
it simple, stupid.
Well, I actually saw, it's unfortunately not available in South Africa, but what a nice concept. Or maybe it is, if anyone knows about an app that can help you find your car. But why do people still lose their cars?
There's hundreds of these apps.
When they park.
Absolutely hundreds of them.
Okay.
In South Africa?
No. I mean, they're usable in South Africa. They're not South African apps.
Like?
But they're usable in South Africa because they use GPS locations.
So, I mean, here's the AA parking app, which is now not available
Well,
in SA.
that's different.
Yes.
You know, that actually gives you the location, the AA parking. It gives you the location of an empty parking space
Yes.
that you can navigate towards and use.
And of course, it makes sense because
For free,
we know,
yeah.
we know how congested places like the UK, London, and that is the big European centres are. So it makes sense that they've got that, and especially with the parking systems that they've got. Sadly, South Africa is still considerably more archaic and we're still just getting used to carrying the ticket with us out of the car so that we actually go and pay at the shopping centre before we come out. We're still getting used to that. We're a couple of years behind, but I'm no doubt that we're going to soon get to that where we need to structure the parking situation.
But seriously, have you ever lost your car?
Confession time?
Yeah.
Yes. Often.
Must be a guy thing.
It's got to be a guy thing. I lose I've lost my. You know what I do now when I go to the airport at Oliver Tambo?
It's the airport. Almost every
Well,
time.
at the airport, I park in the same place because I know that's my spot.
What do you do if someone's taken it, George?
Well, then a couple of ones down.
A few down. I've gone, and I'll often do it, especially if I know I'm going to be away for a few days. Remembering where you parked your car. You know, you leave the car at the airport and you're gone for 2 or 3 days. You're going away on a launch or something of the sort. You're going away on a trip. You come back. Wait, where did I park? I've now gotten into the habit. I'll climb out of the car and I take a photo of the back of the car with the
colour of the level and the
bay
number.
Yeah, the bay number, and that's just the reminder. Oh, okay, I'm on level G or whatever it is, and that makes life a lot easier. So there's no need to go to that extreme of app and that, but. Yeah,
I've tried. I mean, I've tried to use these apps, and 1 or 2 of them have worked. But I agree with you. I don't think opening up an application, getting your GPS location when you're in a basement, there's no signal.
That's
Take a photo.
I don't know if they really got longevity,
and
in
if
terms of their use.
If your battery's flat, then fortunately I've got the picture memory, so that's what I remember. I don't understand how people lose their cars.
I'm just one of those. I'm terrible with direction as well. I'll still use a GPS to try and get home every now and then. I'm like, where do I live again?
Oh, my word, I wouldn't say that out loud.
I don't mind. I don't mind admitting it. It's a short.
Have you ever been on autopilot? I did it the other day.
Yeah. Yes.
Left home to go not to the office, to another meeting that I had to take a different road, and I found myself on the highway on the way to work.
Home.
Yeah.
On your way home.
On the way to the office.
Okay, I have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got too much mice nested, too much going on, or
that's it. Yeah. Or you're just sitting in a situation where you're sitting with so much traffic and that, and you're needing to watch where you're going, or let's say adverse conditions, you're in the rain and that, and you're concentrating a little more, and I actually just missed that off ramp. Or something of the sort.
And then you can't take the next. Yeah.
It's that autopilot sort of scenario that happens. But yes, often. I mean, I actually just moved this weekend, so now.
Oh, now you got to get a new.
No, we didn't ask Jay what he did this weekend.
Yeah, it wasn't that exciting. Trust me.
He tried to avoid that.
I also got my workout. Let's put it that way. All the heavy stuff.
But talking, I mean, autopilot. Chad, have you what was it? The new Ford Active Park Assist or the Merc? Who all's got
There's
that?
Many of them that have got that actually. Off the top of my head, the ones that I have driven, yes, some of the Fords, some of the Opel Rangers. So the little Opel Adam had it. The
Merc.
It
some
can
of
be.
the Mercs.
Yeah, some of the Mercs, Volvos, Jaguars, and the likes.
Have you used it?
I've used it.
Does it work?
Oh, it is so unsettling, hey? It does work.
Because you've got to take your hands off and let this car over. Yes,
it's a control thing.
It is. You have to relinquish control. You've only got control of the pedals. So
what do you do? You put it into park, reverse. How does it?
Well, first you'll activate the system. I'm going to go based on the Opel system.
Yeah.
I didn't use it with the Ford, but I know what the system does, so there was no need to really test it in that. I did it with a little Opel Adam, and you can actually see I included that in the video review. So if you go onto the AutoTrader SA YouTube channel, you go and look for the Opel Adam. I know we're going back to like one of our first videos there.
Still a cool video.
That's a nice video. And you go and take a look. I actually do demonstrate it and how it works, and it was heavily unsettling. You will select whether you're looking for just a normal perpendicular bay or if you're looking for parallel parking. That's the first one that you do. Yeah. And this is while you're still just in the parking lot. Let's say you've just pulled into the parking lot of whichever mall, and there's either perpendicular or parallel parking, and you select which one you're looking for. Then you drive slowly past all these parkings, and with the park distance sensors that are situated in the bumpers will now measure the gaps and see if it is big enough for the car to fit in. So as you drive slowly past it, then it'll give you an audible chime. And I'll say bing, and usually on the dashboard something will come up, and I'll say there's a parking found, and it'll show you where it is. And 9 times out of it's always going to be a reverse parking, so an alley docking in. You will drive past it, you stop it, and it'll tell you, okay, now
take your hands off.
Select reverse. So you select reverse. Okay.
Was that a manual or automatic car?
Manual, huh?
Manual.
It was manual, yeah. Which, I mean, made it tricky because now there's clutch control involved.
Yes, all of that.
Yeah, all of that. And you come off it.
So it only does steering for you?
It only does the steering, yeah. You still need to select the gear. So
you've got to manage the clutch, everything, the petrol, and all it does is steering.
Does the steering for you.
So is it really a valid, I mean, what is really the purpose of it then?
Not everybody has the same sort of
Sense.
spatial
Ability?
awareness and almost geometrical sort of logic. if I
But
can
then you
put it
shouldn't
that way.
pass your license.
How many times have you tried to alley dock and had to go forward and back again?
No, I'm cool with it. I'm being honest now. I don't have a problem.
Well, digital high five there to you.
Or parallel
Right, because it is
park
tricky.
and you start turning too soon.
And it's small little inputs that can make it very tricky, and just throw you completely off course in terms of alley docking or parallel parking, something of the sort.
But am I being completely mean in saying if you can't pass your license, your driver's with it, then
It's one of those, we all develop bad habits, and some of the skills that we learned 10, 15 years ago when we wrote our licenses, we haven't used it in how many years? When was the last time you parallel parked a car?
okay, it has been a while because mostly, I mean, you go in head first or turn around or whatever the case
alley
might be.
dock it in,
Yeah.
And so many people will only drive in forward.
What do you
because they
mean?
can
The
see
car guards
they're
have
not
made it
comfortable.
easy. It's they'll show you how to get into a
George,
parallel parking
that's-
situation.
But that's disastrous. There should be a anti-security app or something for
And
parking.
that is another, it's a bugbear of mine. That alone is you're sitting there, and the modern cars have got park distance control. So they've got all the sensors. And now you've got a car guard standing 2 feet
there.
behind your bumper, making all the warnings in your car go crazy. You're like, dude, just please move out of the way. I know what I'm doing.
Or he's showing you, come, but you can't see his hands. He's got no idea where to
your
show
mirrors
you.
are, where your view is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean that's disastrous. Okay, but I haven't tried it, but that sounds sounds slightly dodgy.
It does help. I'm not one to necessarily use it. If it was an overly tight spot, I may entrust the car to it, but not
But
so much.
the atom should fit in anyway, surely.
The atom should fit in a shoebox.
Yes.
It should. But it's really not bad for those that possibly battle with parking or that need to do it on a regular basis, or they're not accustomed to it. Yeah, it does help. It is a little gimmicky in that sense.
Nice to have. It's like paddle shift. Use it once, maybe twice, and never again.
No, it's along those lines.
Yeah.
It's not something that you're necessarily going to use every day, because after a while, heck, you're going to become good at parallel parking yourself. Not like I was saying, not everybody understands the dynamics of which wheels a car turns around, and
It'll start
understands
teaching
the
you to
size.
gauge it, I suppose.
It does,
from
yeah,
that
it'll
point.
give you an idea, a little bit of
So if you
confidence.
struggle with that, I'm going to go
Not all
look at
bad.
that video.
Go do that.
Yeah.
It is on the AutoTrader site and that. So I think we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to do a little bit of something a little different. We're going to go for a quick little music break. We're going to grab a drink of water here, and be back with you guys in just a few moments' time.
Choice. Sometimes you have it, and sometimes you don't. AutoTrader gives you the choice. Now you can shop, compare, and buy new cars. Watch our expert video reviews and research before you buy. AutoTrader New Car. The choice is yours. Auto Central, powered by AutoTrader on cliffcentral.com.
Yeah, and we're back here, Auto Central. It is Wednesday afternoon. Thank you for joining us here. And if you guys are listening to the podcast, thanks for downloading. That was your data. Thank you. So kind of you. While you're at it, go ahead and download the AutoTrader SA app, as well as the Cliff Central app, which will make it so much easier to go and download the podcasts. And
Or listen
to
live.
Us, and listen to us
Yeah.
live, because we are wanting you to listen live, because we want you to interact with us. We want you to come and make a noise and chat to us while we're on air, nice and live, so we can get a little bit of feedback. And we are chatting apps and motoring and that. And something I just want to get onto quickly is just how vehicles are actually starting to include apps in their infotainment system. So infotainment systems are no longer about just music or navigation or vehicle settings. They're now including apps that will stream. I mean, I'm taking a look here. Opel's IntelliLink system is one of those that uses connected apps as well. And there's numerous other ones. BMW has connected apps. There's a host of them now. Yes, your slightly more high-end vehicles and that are coming in with these apps bundled, or this app functionality on their touch screens that they're including in their infotainment systems. Now, when we say an infotainment system, we are, of course, talking about what would ordinarily be a radio, but it's now a big touch screen, and it's doing more than just radio.
Yeah,
so,
but I was going to ask you on that. What would you say is the how can I say, the bracket or the level of the car that's starting to get that in?
we're seeing it in things. It is optional, but it can be had on vehicles as small as the Adam and the Corsa. And I mean, those are coming in at around the 200,000 Rand mark. So if
And
you
up.
are, and up, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for, a sub hatch to your normal hatches and that, you can start expecting those in around about the 230,000 Rand mark. And if you spec it, it's going to be a couple £1,000 extra if it doesn't come standard, if you're not taking the top of the range model. So it can be spec'd most times. Just check with the manufacturer. Some of the apps
Some
are
are
like
helpful.
navigation.
Yeah.
Some of them are like navigation. I'm just going to go with some of the brand names here that is available through Opel. Bringo. That's their own version of a navigation and that. And I've used it and not bad. General, they're starting to streamline it. There's almost a familiarity. There's almost like an ISO standard that they slowly but surely starting to conform to. So that all your navigation apps are looking and feeling very similar. They've also got TuneIn Radio or Stitcher, which is now internet-based radio. Now, that will connect via Bluetooth to your phone, and from that phone, or wired, it'll use your data connection. So basically use your SIM there and give you streaming radio. So, there we go. There's another one. If you want to listen to Auto Central live, go there, get on your Stitcher.
It's all over. I just don't know if people really know how to connect it. Because I know the Jeep has the Uconnect system, which connects the phone's Bluetooth to the car system and automatically streams radio. So very, very simple to use.
And I'm sure there's a lot of cars that do it, but we don't know. You don't know that yours can actually. Well, I mean, that's great because then you can already listen to. You don't have to hold your phone or whatever, but listen to Cliff Central. So I mean, like, what cars? Which one is it that the Opel? So can the Opel do it now?
In
Which
terms
Opel?
of the streaming?
Yes.
You can, yes. Yeah, the Opel can do it. There's many that can do it. You just need to check which apps are available and compatible with your infotainment system and that. We've actually got somebody here, and this is now a topic that we were just discussing off air in the break quickly, about there is a dark side to all this
apps.
Connectivity and the apps and all that. And there was a recent...
Who commented?
Sally's here. She's chatting to us on WeChat, and she says, "Yeah, my mom's BMW got hacked. He got locked inside, and the car drove him to his boyfriend he was cheating with."
Oh my word!
Right.
Hang on. So how does that work?
Well, I mean, in reality, that has happened to the Jeep, right?
It has, yeah. There was
not the driving to the boyfriend, but
the system. Yeah, the system actually being hacked. And wherever it.
So where do you have to be to hack it?
You could be anywhere. Now,
really?
This was actually a deliberate. I did the reading up on this Jeep one as well. That happened with them, and it was actually a deliberate attempt. They said that, listen to one of the Jeep representatives, and then said, "Listen, we've cracked your system." They didn't do anything malicious. They actually went there first and said, "Listen,
wanted to prove a point.
We've got access.
Yeah.
Okay, just be warned. If we can do it, anybody else can do it." No. A little suspect, a little skeptical at first. All right, we're going to hack your car at that time.
And they did.
Told him, and he went around. The guy went driving. All of a sudden, windscreen wipers started playing. Radio stations started changing. He hadn't touched a thing. And then they got a little more serious. They said that they wouldn't endanger his life, but they were going to mess with the car, and he must just be prepared for it. Cut the ABS, cut the motor, locked him inside. Basically, he was sitting in the middle of a highway with dead stick. He had nowhere to go, virtually no brakes, no motor. He couldn't swing the car. There was no auxiliary power, anything of the sort, because these guys had hacked his vehicle.
So which vehicles can you hack like this?
I don't doubt that just about any vehicle can be hacked.
Probably most that have Bluetooth and wireless connections.
There will be a way. They'll have security in
That's
place.
A very dark side.
It's a dark side, but it is a bit of a reality that the manufacturers naturally would have to keep in mind.
Well, the whole world has to keep hacking in mind. Let's be honest.
No, but I'm pretty sure the security will beef up. I mean, instances like that will happen, and
how long ago was this?
It was about a month, 2 months ago.
Yeah, about 2 months ago.
So it's recent too.
It is recent. It's of their recent vehicles and that. But they just brought it to Chrysler's attention and said, "Listen, take a look at your vehicles.
Take your car back.
Here's the loophole. There's a black wormhole there. We got in through it. So please be warned. Please be careful."
Did they not ask a little lump sum?
They could have held it ransom, but I think just the sheer principle of it has put them in the good books with Chrysler.
Free
going
cars.
forward. I don't know about that, but the guys have got there's some employment opportunities.
Yeah, but there's some hard work. Exactly. I mean, well done for spotting it, but that's rough.
Let's run full circle and let's just go back to Google and Android and that's why they made all their stuff so open source and free source, because they understood that they don't necessarily employ the smartest person in the world, but if we make it open, open source. The smartest person in the world may just work on it.
Yeah, will
And
help.
if he works on it, we get the feedback.
But listen, that's not like the only black hole or whatever with
No.
regards to apps. I mean, here's these kind of apps. You get the one that's now fuel monitor that helps you monitor your fuel. And then you've got this car cam that's not available apparently on Android. But this thing now you can go racing and record it. So it records speed, maximum speed, distance, acceleration, braking, steering, maximum force, all these things. It makes you feel like you're on a racetrack.
Well,
So, I mean, what's the bad stuff that's going to come with that?
Well, dash cams are becoming more and more popular. More and more people are actually buying proper dash cams, putting them on their cars, and letting them record. Now, how the dash cam works is it records it to a little hard drive, and then it can store up to a couple of hours of.
But that's like giving candy
of
to your
video.
insurance broker.
Well,
Or saving your butt when it comes to your insurance.
Or,
Proving who was
either
at fault
or,
or
yeah,
the situation.
for sure. But I mean, mostly.
Are you that bad a driver that you're thinking that it
No.
is besig om 'n lot te pluk?
Well, I'm not the only one speeding every now and then, I'm sure.
Well,
so,
I mean, what interests me. I mean, I'd never seen this app before. I didn't know that.
CarCam.
CarCam. Yeah, CarCam it seems like a really good app. I'm going to go and download it and test it. But what I battle to understand about CarCam, and I'll learn when I download it, is where is it going to store the video? Because videos are big files.
Mm-hmm.
If your phone's not big enough, where is it going to store the video?
Now, as far as I know, it runs an hour loop.
Ye-
So it's
Okay.
going to be replacing the same. You will need 200 megabytes, 300 megabytes. Depends on the resolution, of course,
Okay.
in terms of video.
Yeah.
And it'll just keep on using that same 200 megabyte file.
Over and over.
it says
again.
it stores your videos in the app, or you can share it on Facebook.
Yeah,
Don't share it.
no doubt you'd be able to save it, but I think if you use it as a pure dash cam for traveling and that, most of them run on a loop system, so that when something happens, you basically stop the recording. It saves the hour before that, so you've got that hour leading up to the incident.
That's
whatever,
interesting because
and
it
then you've got
doesn't
there.
say.
Most dash cams work in that sense, and some countries are starting to make it legislature that you need to actually have a dash cam in your vehicle.
Because it helps
Rental
them.
companies.
Yeah.
Just go into YouTube, type in Russian dash cam. All the rental cars have got it there. You will see some scary driving. You think our roads are bad? Russian dash cams. You will blow a gig of data on YouTube just looking at that stuff.
Or do what Clive and I did, just hold your phone up.
I was just going to say, did you see that?
I did.
With the traffic, I mean, that's like the most talked about
It is. It's
little
hot-
video going
it's
on
hot
now.
topic this week.
What is your view on that? Was it good or bad?
You know what? I think he was being a bit of an idiot. He shouldn't have done that. He wasn't in any threatening situation. He
No.
wasn't being harassed. I watched the video, and
I think
he
no,
was
but
he
you know-
was provoking
was
that
provoking.
police
Yeah,
officer.
he started off provoking for sure, but she just carried it through all
Yeah,
the
no,
way.
well,
This
she
traffic
milked it.
cop,
She knew what he was
for
doing.
sure did. She was like posing for this camera. Like her dad's going to be happy to see
I watched the
her
fir-
writing a ticket.
I watched, let's say, the first quarter of it maybe, and I could just see where this was going. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you're already in the wrong.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're trying to get them
He
to
did provoke.
prove that you went through a red light. They can't prove it, and it's not one of those. If they saw you do it, they're
going to give you a
officers of
ticket.
the law,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and that's their word against yours.
Yeah.
And who do you think is going to stand up in court?
Look,
the accused or the official.
it is proof of their arrogance. I'm sorry, but that is kind of how they treat you mostly, whether you now provoke them or not.
A lot of the time. But not all the time. I'm
I
going to
don't
defend
know.
them. there. I'm gonna defend them.
I've put a smile on my face when a police officer stops me, and you know what? They're very friendly. 99%
Why?
of the
Because
time.
they want
I'm gonna
they
go
want
8 times out
something.
of 10 there, and I've also done it. And I try to put myself in somebody else's shoes and sit there and say, he's standing out here, he's doing this.
Yeah.
Let's say he's not one of those typical corrupt,
Yeah.
KFC hungry sort of, I'm just looking for lunch money maneuvers. Go out there and treat it. This guy's doing a job.
If
This
you
is his
made a
job.
mistake,
Absolutely.
live up to
Even
it.
if
Yeah.
he pulls me over, as inconvenient as it is, pulls me over, and you treat them with respect. Respect the uniform. And you go back 30, 40 years, there was a respect for that uniform. Not a fear or a disdain for it. There was a respect for it. And treat it with a, good morning, good afternoon, officer. A yes, sir, no, sir, certainly. Have that license ready. Explain your intentions. And you'll find that they just communicate and they do their job. Admit when you're wrong.
Yeah. Don't
You
do
know?
what I did. Or, you know what happened to me? I was towing a trailer. I was on my way to go pick up a bike. And I was driving because there's nothing wrong. Everything on my side's clean. So when they pulled me over, I was like, sweet, no problem.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Little did I know that firstly, because it wasn't my trailer, I didn't have the license disc, wasn't on the trailer. I didn't check that.
Oops.
So there goes the first little bit, I think $500. And then second one is like asking me my driver. So I said, sure, no problem. I give it to him, only to find out it's expired.
Oh.
So I had one go, and I thought nothing was wrong. So, but I think he could see on my face
That this was completely
really
blindsided
like,
you. Yes, yeah.
oops. Sorry. That's all I could say. And at the end, I actually did. I mean, we got away with it, but it's without doing anything. It's just, I'm really sorry.
But
now I've got
it
my
was that-
temporary one.
It was that admission of
Yeah.
it. It was that I'm not. You didn't get, stroppy.
Well, straight away you're
stroppy,
back up.
Yeah, and you didn't attack. You paint them into a corner. They're going to strike. Come on, it's a
Exactly.
human instinct.
Exactly.
And if he's standing out there, he's dealing with so many motorists that are that grumpy, disgruntled, and just lashing out at him, trying to get their way. And you're such an inconvenience.
And I'm late for my meeting.
I'm late for my job is more important than yours.
Or what did he say? I pay your salary. You can't say that to
Ooh,
people.
yeah, no, that
That's
was-
just.
In the way that the world works, I understand where he was going with that, but hey, not the time and place, my friend.
But
Wrong
she's
time,
clever.
wrong-
She pays her own salary with the taxes.
Yeah, I pay taxes. Or do I pay yours? Do I pay mine? Yeah.
No, I think it was funny, but I think he made a mistake. He shouldn't have done that.
We're actually going to, in one of our upcoming episodes, we're going to get an attorney, a specialist in here that knows the law basically inside out, and he's going to be giving us a little bit of a heads up as to what your rights are as a motorist.
Brilliant.
So we're going to be chatting to that in one of the upcoming weeks here on Auto Central, and that we've got about 10 minutes to go, and we're going to start chatting about our review. And the review that we are discussing, which is available on the AutoTrader SA YouTube channel, as well as on the social media platforms, and that is the Opel Corsa. Now, it was the 1 litre EcoBoost in a manual, and it's not a bad car. I'm not a fan of the styling. It's not as fresh and funky or edgy as the Opel Adam, and I feel that it's lost a little bit. It's now the 5th incarnation of the Opel Corsa. We've only received 4 here in South Africa. We missed the first one. We got from Corsa B all the way through to now Corsa E. I think the styling's a little off, but it is brilliantly engineered. It goes along with Opel's current ethos of the new Germans. And their new Germans, they say, they've got the engineering background and the skill set of the old Germans. So it's still engineered the same way, but they're just more up to date and more contemporary. So they're fresh with what people want. And it shows in terms of like their connected apps and the likes. What's nice about the Corsa is it's a little more grown up than the Adam. The Adam appeals to a very young audience. The Opel Adam actually comes in at roughly the same price. And it's running the same motor. It's got a little more space. It just doesn't have the little gadgets and the wizardry and that type of thing. But it makes it a more genuine, a more hearty car in that sense.
What do they go for now? Because isn't it considered like a student vehicle mostly?
The Corsa is. And I mean, we just about all of us here will have some sort of memory of a Corsa.
Yes.
It was somebody's first car, or we
And it
learned
was
to drive.
reliable.
Yes, my girlfriend had a purple one
There we we know the kind. I also had a girlfriend that had a purple
with big
one.
mag wheels.
That's a little
No,
disturbing. We
shouldn't
need to have a talk after this one, George.
Is that where your love started?
No, she told me the story, but but if I remember those Corsas in those days, I mean, you had the Opel Superboss, and then came the
Yes.
little Opel Corsa,
Cadet.
the
you
Cadet.
The
yes.
Cadets took on, there was the Cadet Superboss and that, and then they
Yes.
started over and they went to it was the E, the Astra E, which had the TS and that, and that
Yes.
was the start of it. And then, of course, with those rounded lines and that, they introduced now the Opel Corsa,
Corsa.
B. You
Yeah.
know, like I say, we didn't get the first one, we only got the
Yeah.
second one, the Corsa B, and that became the Corsa Light, in the same way that VW kept on making the Mark 1, and they called it the City Golf. Opel continued making
With
the
the
Corsa B, making it the Corsa Light, while the actual Corsa range evolved. So this isn't a Corsa Light, this is now the full-blown new Corsa.
They've kind of stuck with the purple, I have to say. Except I don't know with this range. What are their colors that they?
I haven't seen, they're fairly muted. They are very German in their execution there.
Undercover.
Yes, very muted, but very grown up. And that's where the Adam has the fresh and funky, and your James Blonde and whatever they're calling their funky colors. The Corsa's coming in a little more mature, a little more conservative. you're out of varsity now and you need something that you can pitch up to the office in and not be embarrassed with. You can go and
It's
do
not
a
purple.
Yeah, it's not purple. The 1 liter turbo Enjoy model. Now, of course, they start with the Enjoy and they go to the Cosmo, which is the slightly more spec.
It's pricey. I mean, 258,000 rand.
I'm looking at
That's
exactly
now
that.
on the Cosmo model. Okay.
No, that's the Opel Corsa 1 liter turbo Enjoy.
Okay. The one that we were testing retailed for 216.
Wow.
So you got the bottom of the barrel.
So I'm wondering-
EPT.
Yeah, but this could be a bit of a spec'd up car.
That could be a little spec'd up.
They're charging for accessories.
Yeah, it may have a couple of the accessories. The IntelliLink, and that is an option on the Enjoy model. On the Cosmo model, which is the higher spec model, that one comes now standard with the IntelliLink with the connected apps and the like.
But it also comes with a fancy mags.
Yeah, it's got the alloy wheels and that. It doesn't
Yeah.
come badly spec'd, but there are a few things that you may want to add. And of course, this is also sold with Opel's 5-year, 120,000 kilometer warranty, 3-year, 60,000 kilometer service plan. It's not a bad drive. But it's more transport than anything else per se.
I just got to say something. I mean, this is it's a grown-up student car. Let's call it that.
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely, yeah.
But another app I just want to add to that before we get going, because time's going very quickly today, is have you seen that official DVSA highway code? They're saying it's not available in Android. I don't know why. But this is quite a awesome app for me from the point of you need to go do your learner still or your drivers. So it seems to have, it's the official DVSA app. It seems to have all the test-based, the road signs, stopping distance, road safety etiquette, all those things you need to pass your learners. So you don't have to have this book with you. You've got this on an app and you can study it like that. So I haven't checked it out myself yet, so I don't know how accurate it is, but it is the official DVSA highway code. So it's got a...
But whose highway code? Is it our K53? Is it our local signs and that?
Well,
because naturally they're not all the same.
It's a combination, it says, it claims. So we're going to have to go and have a look at that. Look, it's not free, 69 Rand, but I mean, it's a little more than what you pay for the book. But
in this paperless day and age,
yes, it's kind of the way to go.
To find an app somewhere,
so I think it's worthwhile looking at that, as an option if you still do have to go get your little grown-up car.
The interesting thing on that app is all the pictures of the cars on the left-hand side of the road, so it can't be American.
No,
could be a British. Could be a British-based system in that. But you'd have to take a look. Well, yeah, maybe go and find a light version of the app.
I'll also definitely go
and see
look
if
into it
there's
a bit more.
South African option. It wouldn't be a bad idea if they could come out with a K53 app. Make passing your learners so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, just by the way, because I saw here on your next to you on your desk this Rossi thing. Did you watch the GP?
No, I didn't, but I noticed that Rossi won.
Yes.
And when I noticed that Rossi won, I knew you were going to be doing backward somersaults. Tell us about that.
Well, firstly, it's all Italian podium, the full Italian podium, which was great, but it was wet. It was a wet weather race. And I mean, we spoke about this a while ago.
Yeah, it was wet start. Most of the guys started out on their wet bikes.
Yeah, so I mean, Rossi did exceptionally well. He's ahead now. He's 12 points ahead. Poor Marquez crashed, so he's out. He's not going to be able to make the championship. He's too far behind.
It's too late in the season
it's
for that.
It's too late to make it up, with the amount of races left. But Jorge is a little further behind, so I'm happy. I hope there's another wet one.
You're not a fan, hey? You're not a fan at all.
No, but you know what? I'm just wondering, is Italy wet?
She's scared of him actually taking Rossi on.
No, I don't like his attitude. I think he's arrogant.
Well, you're allowed to have your protagonists and antagonists in your
Rossi
own story.
for me is a true champion. In his behavior and his riding, everything over there. He's 36, he's still showing the young boys.
There we go.
And in the wet.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, that's brilliant.
In the wet, just out of for my benefit, in the wet on those tires. I mean, how slow do you have to go around those corners?
Look, there is a slight difference in lap timing, but nowhere near as what you would think, because the wet weather tires are phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually amazing. It's still full lean angle, knee down, and quite wet conditions as well. So it's got just quite a bit more tread, and it's a very softer compound.
So does it get eaten as much as in the Formula One car? on dry tracks. So does the wet weather tire get eaten as much?
Yes, because the compound's so much softer.
Yes.
So if you're in a situation where it starts off wet, the race, and halfway through it dries up, we tend to find that little wet spot on the track to just quickly keep your
Get it
tire
wet.
cold and wet again,
Okay.
if you can. But otherwise, it's got good traction. It's just a lot softer.
Wow.
But it's amazing to see the guys race in the rain like that.
That definitely takes bucket loads of courage. Tons,
Like I say,
tons.
champions.
Champions.
True champion.
Well, we're out of time. Hour goes so quick when you're having fun, hey, when you're chatting and having
Absolutely.
fun. But thank you very much for joining us. Those of you that have joined us, please join us on the social media channels. George,
At George Mini.
Wilmarie,
At SA Speed Queen.
and myself at Chad Lookoff. And don't forget, at AutoTrader SA. We'll see you here again next week. Bye-bye.
Auto Central, powered by AutoTrader on CliffCentral.com.